How many podcasts do you think you've done, Chris, at this point?
I think probably like 8 or 9. So I've
Okay.
done, some smaller ones. The biggest one we've ever done was in the early days of the Tucker Carlson podcast. So we did that like a year and a half ago. That was before kind of the more recent stuff he's been doing. But we've done a lot of news, as you can imagine, Fox News, the Yahoo Finance, those Newsmax, they love what we do. So I go
Yeah.
on them a lot more probably than the podcasts.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you got in contact. How did that relationship form with the Tucker Carlson stuff?
Yeah, it's just the idea that we have of if you post high quality content on social media, opportunities will arise. So a little bit of background on me is like, yes, I am the co-founder of Autopilot. We're venture backed. We've raised, I think probably like 15 or 16 million of funding. We have two billion dollars of assets under management. We have a whole kind of tech arm. But when I initially started with my co-founders, Brian, Scott, and Aaron, back in 2020, I did all the growth stuff. I was in charge of all the social media, all the content creation, for lack of a better way to describe it. And when that was how the Pelosi Stock Tracker initially started. But the approach that we had was very much just provide value. Don't try and create a clickbait. Don't try and hyper create. Don't try and overhype all these things. Just be authentic and just be an authority in the space with what you're talking about, and good opportunities will come. And that's kind of how we approached it. So the way that Tucker Carlson happened was I wrote a thread about on X about Dan Crenshaw and how he was advocating for politicians to stock trade. And we were like, well, that is kind of dumb. That's the wrong thing to write in this day and age. So we clipped it up. I wrote the whole thread on how his portfolio has been doing. And then someone from Tucker Carlson's team reached out to me on Twitter.
He's like,
That's how
yeah,
that's
I could
how
I
that one
could partner
started.
with this guy. We have a common enemy now, Dan Crenshaw. So that's how it worked.
Exactly. Yeah,
Interesting.
exactly. Exactly.
Wow. So Dan
Yeah.
Crenshaw was putting that out. Isn't that something? I want to dig into. Actually, that is something that we do want to dig into here is how all these politicians are even allowed to do what
Yeah.
they do when it comes to stock trade. I know that's been one of your missions. It's kind of paradoxical because your business is somewhat built around it, which we'll get into. But
Yeah.
what have you learned as you've gone through this process, Chris? Like, what have you learned, generally speaking, about just politicians and their ability to trade stocks, bonds, etc.?
I think there's been levels of what I've learned. The first level was, I would say, back in 2021 when we started the product and diving deep into this was the education layer, where I think it's hard to remember, but back in 2020, 2021, investing wasn't really that big of a topic as much as it is now because of how Robinhood and COVID has sped up the tailwinds behind investing. But the majority of Americans back then didn't know that politicians were even able to trade to begin with. I didn't know that. I was assuming that they had the same laws that, a Goldman Sachs 22-year-old analyst in New York City would have, which is you can't buy individual stocks, you have to buy ETFs or you have to buy mutual funds. You can't buy stocks while you sit on committees or kind of have any way of doing insider trading. So I was shocked when I first realized that they were allowed to do it to begin with. And that was where the initial start was. We started posting on social media. We started talking about it on TikTok. And then the second layer, though, that added to that first layer was not only are they allowed to do it, which I was surprised by, they also are, one, making shady trades, and two, making a ton of money making those shady trades. So,
Right.
like, as I started, you would think that, okay, maybe they're doing it, but it's not, that bad. Maybe it's just, they're buying Apple, they're buying Google, they're buying Microsoft, the biggest companies in the world. But it turned out to not be the case. They would be buying companies where they directly sit on committees overseeing those companies, and then they would profit from it. So that was, I think, like the second layer that surprised me. And then the third layer, though, I think is like this whole world we're in now where they're not going to do anything about it. It's like, I don't know how much more the Pelosi Stock Tracker has 1.8 million followers on X. The Autopilot, the app, we have $500 million trading alongside Nancy Pelosi. We've been on all the different podcasts, we've been on all the different news, and nothing has happened. And I don't think anything will continue to happen. And I think that is the last kind of like sad but reality gut check is they are only incentivized, like to do things that are in their own interest. And this is not in their own interest, so they're not going to do anything about it. And that is why we are going to continue pushing to try and get a ban through. But the odds of it happening are still low.
It just feels like it's insider trading at its highest of levels. It really, I mean, it has to be for all
Yeah.
of these politicians to walk in with a net worth of a couple hundred grand and walk out with tens of millions, if not more, in their
Yep.
net worth after 4 short years or 8 years or 12 years, whatever it is. And again, term limits, don't even get me started on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we need term
Yeah.
limits for senators and Congress people, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like you can't hide with the math. So the way that the filings work, just real quick so people understand, politicians have to file their stock trade up to 45 days after they make that trade. So if they buy on January 1st, they have a 45-day delay to have to file that trade, whether they buy, whether they sell. It's annoying, it's stupid. In all my research, I've never been able to find out why or why that delay even was there to begin with. But that shows you the individual trades. The way that we know about the net worth growths is each politician also has to file a yearly annual financial report, which shows all the values of their stocks, their real estate, their loans, their savings accounts. And that's how we've seen, take Nancy Pelosi, for example. It's not just her, a lot of them do it, but that's how she started in the 1980s. She was, I think, maybe worth like 200 or 300K. And now she's worth upwards of 300 million. That's how we know those numbers. And that's how we can verify that those numbers are true. These are not just headlines. This is facts in her personal financial disclosures.
Well, it goes all the way up to the top too. I mean, Trump is the first one to call her out when he's doing a State of the Union or some of these other interviews he's done, and he's just as much involved in this as they are. Because I just saw the reporting. I'm sure, obviously, you know this. Over $1 billion, something that he had to report for 2025. In terms of investment value creation that they did on the crypto market.
Yep. Yeah. He made more money in crypto and with his crypto coin than all the top crypto companies made in profits in 2025. That he made more than Coinbase. He made more than Kraken. He made more than some of the other smaller ones.
I lost you there for a
And
second.
we only know that because he has to file these financial disclosures. And now, can you still hear me?
I think you're coming back. We lost you for a brief moment. Let me just see what's going on here. All right, I think we're more connected again. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So to your point, it isn't just, Nancy Pelosi does go all the way to the top. Like Trump, I think a couple of weeks ago, he filed that he made more money in his crypto coin than all the other crypto companies made in profits in 2025.
That's astonishing, dude.
It's crazy. It's more than Coinbase. Coinbase is the world leader of crypto trading. They're the best crypto platform. And Trump, the sitting president, made more money in crypto.
That to me, I have a
crypto.
huge problem with that. I have a huge problem, and I'm a Trump supporter. I'll be the first to admit it. But I have a huge problem with that activity. And that Trump meme coin, that thing was like where it came out and it shot to the roof. It's down like 98 or 99%.
Yep.
And that was one of the holdings, I believe, that I saw that he earned several hundred million on just that coin alone.
Yeah. The only person that probably made money on that coin, and it's an insane thing to say, the only person that probably made money on that coin was him. I don't know how many, because people were buying and hold that in that thing. Every single person that bought it, if it's down 99.98%, they all lost money. The thing has not gone up. So
unless you sold within the first few days or whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, I think I call those kind of like, again, this goes back to my initial point of why I don't think a ban will go through. It's like, I don't think that they're incentivized or they really need to. If Trump is still doing it, he's calling on Nancy Pelosi. He should have been the leader of trying to get a ban through. But if they were to do a ban, he would have to ban himself. And it's like, well, is he going to do that? I don't know. And it seems like he's not. So it's a frustrating piece. This is why the whole kind of conversation is just, it goes to a dead end. It never moves forward.
So you came up with this idea like, hey, Nancy Pelosi's getting fat, getting living high on the hog, and she's getting, those pockets are getting fatter and fatter. How do we follow her stock trades? I mean, it's a tremendous tremendous approach. The issue that you must have had though is that, to your point, you have to wait. They have 6 weeks, 45 days to file.
Yep.
So by the time that they're notifying you and notifying your followers that, hey, here's what we did, I mean, that trade could be worth much less at that point.
Yeah. Well, so the initial idea was exactly that. It was kind of building the way to allow the everyday American to get in on the quote unquote corruption, where it's one thing to be like, oh, screw you, Pelosi, you're doing this right in front of our very eyes. We're going to call you out on Twitter. The next layer to that is like saying, F it. If you can't beat them, join them. Let's build a way to allow people to trade alongside her so that if at least she's, insider trading, now we can too, kind of thing. We didn't expect it though to outperform because I think, like to your point, and what a lot of people do bring up is, yeah, there is a delay. Does the delay take away the alpha? Do you get in too late? And it sounds like you would on paper, but all the data that we see, and we've been doing this for years, we're probably the one platform that has all this data, is even with the delay, the majority of them do outperform the market. So like Pelosi, she buys and holds companies for years. She's not trading too actively. She's not buying and selling within 2 weeks. She's buying and holding at least a year for the majority of her investments, and so do the other politicians. So even with the delay, even with that 45-day delay, her portfolio is up around 200% since we started in January of 2023, while the stock market overall is up, I think, like 80 or 90%. That's the facts. That's just the reality of it. It doesn't sound right on paper, but it is where the performance falls.
So if I create an account on Autopilot, which is your app, which we've linked here in the show notes, guys, you can click the link on Autopilot and learn more about Chris's app, the company, and how you can get involved with investing with the greatest investors in the world. They happen to be politicians, some of them, but I go on Autopilot. I can sign up for an account that basically says every time Nancy Pelosi makes a trade, I want that trade to hit I want to invest as well, X amount.
Yeah. Yeah. And even simpler, you don't have to open up an account with us and transfer money to us. You just connect your personal Robinhood account. You connect your personal Charles Schwab account. You connect your personal Webull account. And then all the money stays in your own portfolio in your own platform. So you don't have to go through the pain of transferring money to us. You just set it up so that whatever Nancy Pelosi buys or sells, you buy or sell, and then you allocate money, and then your money just mirrors whatever she does automatically.
Now, so your app will trigger that sale once it's actually announced in her filing. Is that correct?
Correct.
Because she could have made the trade, the purchase 4 weeks earlier, and we don't know about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So fair. So to clarify, it's whenever Nancy Pelosi files a buy and sell, all the people autopiloting her make those same buys and sells automatically.
And then who are some of the other people then that we could follow or attach to? You call them pilots, yep. / investors, essentially. Who are some of the others that we can choose?
So I think people would be surprised. It's a lot of these people that are enthusiasts, that are passionate about investing, that do this on the side, that write the Substacks, that are on X, that are on Reddit sharing their personal stock picks. We believe there's a lot of people out there that are pretty good. Whether it's your neighbor, whether it's your brother, whether it's your someone you follow in your network of friends, they can go onto the platform, launch their own personal portfolios, and then you could track their performance. And those are the people we've seen that have actually done even better than Nancy Pelosi. For example, we have a YouTuber named Adam Leach. He makes content on YouTube. He's been doing it for years, but he's been picking stocks. He launched his personal portfolio on Autopilot, I think probably like a year and a half ago. And he's outperformed the stock market. He's outperformed Nancy Pelosi. And he has around $125, $130 million trading alongside him. He's one. Another one is we have an AI PhD from Wharton who wrote a book on how to use ChatGPT and other language learning models to pick stocks for you. So if you ever thought about, like, wouldn't it be interesting if Claude or ChatGPT or Grok would run my personal portfolio, he's essentially recreated that, put that on Autopilot, and he's outperformed. He's done well with those, and he has around $200 million trading alongside him. These are the sorts of people that are kind of emerging kind of that are outperforming politicians, that are outperforming the everyday person, and that are now an option for someone like you or I to trade alongside. That's the
Wow.
big picture of why we're excited with what we're
And
doing.
what's the incentive for those folks to go on there and share their portfolios? Do
They
they
get
get some kind
paid.
of
They get paid, and they get paid a lot.
they get paid?
So yeah, so they get a certain percentage of all the subscription that of the subscription charge that goes to mirroring those portfolios. So and it's a win-win-win for everyone. So someone like you, say you got $100,000 and you don't want to pick your own stocks, you maybe don't have the time, you're maybe not good at it, it's not worth your time, but you know you have to actively invest. You can go to Autopilot, find that Peter Wolf guy, and you will pay a one-time yearly subscription of $150, for example. It's not that expensive. It's just $150. You are like, yeah, fair. I'll pay $150 to not have to worry about this, and maybe he can make me some extra money. He loves it because he keeps a certain percentage of that $150, which is fair because he's doing all the work, time, and research. He should be rewarded for that. Autopilot, we keep a certain amount of that $150 because we facilitate the trades, we have the technology, we're doing all the legal expenses. And it's a win-win-win for everyone because the pilot loves doing it. He enjoys it. He gets paid. The user in your shoes, you love it because you are now tapping into this guy's expertise. And then we as the platform, obviously we love it because this is what we're trying to do. That's the incentive structure of why we've seen it, the flywheel work.
Mhm. That's fascinating. What's a subscription base? Like what some of these top guys, how many people do they have subscribed to them at this point?
A lot. So, I mean, more than we thought they would have. uh, to date, so the broader portfolios in general, Autopilot, we have around $1.8 billion of assets under management. We are registered with the SEC. We're one of the fastest growing RIAs in the nation, which is crazy because it started out as an invest like a politician app. But with that, we have around 200,000 clients that are actively doing this. The top portfolios that the pilots that we have, Peter Wolf has around $275 million trading alongside him. He shares his personal picks. He is, I think, one of the top. He's one of the top earning pilots. He makes a lot of money with his subscriptions. He loves it. And then the AI guy has around $200 million trading alongside him. Adam in the money, the guy I mentioned earlier, he has around $150
Yeah, but
million trading alongside him.
that could just be one person that follows, and that could be Warren Buffett that decided to give
Yeah,
the guy
fair,
200 million, Chris. So I mean, do you
fair,
share
fair,
with
fair.
how many people are
We
actually
do.
subscribed? You do.
Yeah, it's this is all in the app. I think like the Peter Wolf has around 30,000 people. I think Dr. Lira with the AI has around 23 or 24,000. And then I
Gotcha.
think Adam in the Money has around like 16 or 17,000.
Right. So this could be very lucrative for these guys if you're a legitimate investor and you've got a proven track record. It makes a lot of sense to join your like. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you join your? I don't know what these guys are taking, and obviously that's private between you guys. But I'm just using round numbers. If they were making $100 per person, and maybe it's a little less or a little more, whatever. But think about that. It could be millions of dollars for a prime investor to per year annually to just share
I
what they're
mean,
doing.
we already have a couple and it's not even just them. We have a couple people that are making over 60 to 70,000 a month, including those guys. Those guys obviously do, but it is very lucrative. And like the idea is my belief, my hot take is I think in 3 to 4 years, even like 1 or 2 years, to be honest, we're in this new era of investing where it's kind of peer-to-peer investing. You don't have to personally pick your stocks on your own. There are better people out there, but in the past, there was no way to gain access to them. Through Autopilot now, you can do peer-to-peer investing. And the reality, the reason why I think to your point, why not launch a fund is a lot of men, ages frankly 35 to 50, they don't have the ability to really do a side hustle. The 20 to 25-year-old, 20 to 30-year-old kids, they can get on social media. They can create, different they can create content for brands. Females, they can do get ready with me. They can do makeup stuff. A 30 to 50-year-old
They can
man
do feed on what OnlyFans
on
too.
OnlyFans. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. A man though, age 45, who has a passion and has a hobby, it's really hard for him to monetize that hobby. And I think investing is a hobby that a lot of them have. They're good at it, they enjoy it. this is the first outlet that allows them to monetize their personal passions. And that I
Mm.
think is like what will take Autopilot to the next level once more and more people understand and realize that value prop.
And then you can sell anytime you want because it still remains within your Robinhood app, within your Charles Schwab app, whatever.
Yep.
So
Yep. And
go ahead.
yeah, exactly. And the way that the reason why we did that is like, I don't know if you have a financial advisor, but I'm sure a lot of the listeners here have a financial advisors. And if you've ever tried to get your money back from a financial advisor, it's hard. It's rightfully hard. You got to call them up. You got to convince them to sell out. They have to transfer it all back to you. It's just a hard offboarding experience to cancel a financial advisor for whatever reason of why you would want to cancel it. With us, it's you could set it up in 2 clicks, which is great. But the other benefit of it is you can move on and sell out in 2 clicks. You don't have to call them up and go through that week process of trying to get your money back. It all stays in the comfort of your own Charles Schwab account. And you can get that money back literally in 2 minutes by just selling the pilot that you're with.
That's fantastic stuff, guys. Again, check out the links in the show notes. We've linked the Instagram account. We've linked the app, of course. The Nancy Pelosi Stock Tracker. What a phenomenal creation. Who would have thought that it would have led to this, huh?
I mean, I wouldn't have. I started this when I was 24. I'm 30 now, but
Good for
24-year-old
you,
me would
dude.
not have thought that this was going to be
Good for
as big
you.
as it is now.
Now, are you guys
So
looking for additional capital to continue to grow your business?
we're in early conversations, yes. I don't think we necessarily need it. I think it's more of like we see a big opportunity to continue doubling down in this space where it's not even just personal stocks. I think we can get into broader retirement. I think we can get into alternative assets. I think we can get into crypto, world maybe. It doesn't have to stop with just stock trading of fun alpha strategies. We don't think that you should come into Autopilot and put 100% of your net worth with a Pelosi tracker because like the truth is, it's risky. These portfolios go up and down. They don't just go up. But we think we can build out a better suite for the everyday person to say, hey, I got $80,000 or $90,000 in my Roth IRA account that I was having a financial advisor manage for me, or that I was just sitting not knowing what to do. Let me look at Autopilot as an alternative for that. And that I think is the opportunity of why we would go and raise more capital.
And you're in New York City, you said.
In New York City.
New
Yep.
York City with the Boston Red Sox hat on. That is that's another paradoxical type
I
moment.
gotta rep it. I gotta rep it. I'm a Boston, Massachusetts guy, born and raised. I'll never not wear my Red Sox hat.
That's awesome. I actually used to be in the sports agent industry for a few years after law school
Ah,
before
cool.
joining our family business, and it's been a while. But one of my clients, one of the guys we brought in when I was doing it was Devin McCourty.
Oh, of course. The cornerback for the Patriots.
Yeah, well, he
Yeah.
was.
Or
Yeah,
the safety. Yeah.
he was the corner slash safety, and
Yeah.
actually, my one of my first draft picks ever was Ron Brace. I don't know if you remember him, Boston College
No, I
D
don't know
tackle,
him.
played at Boston College, passed away
Ooh.
a few years back. But that was my entrance into the NFL and Boston. I got to go to Boston a few times. It was the
I
Boston
think
fans are wild. There's
I
nothing like it.
say it's the most underrated city in America. I think. I think it's got everything. It's got the seasons, it's got the summers with the Cape, it's got the sports, it's got the tech and the healthcare,
Who's
it's
your
got the
favorite Red
jobs.
Sox of all time?
Uh Ortiz, of course.
Yeah,
Of course. Yeah, I grew up with him. So again, like I'm 30. When I was 6 years old when Brady took over, and I was I think 11 when the Red Sox came back against the Yankees in '04. So Ortiz has always been
I
I
think for
grew up
me it
with
would have
him.
been if I had to choose a Red Sox that I like. I think probably Nomar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Maybe that
that's
was a
my
little before your
dad's.
time though.
I remember him. He went to the Dodgers. He was our shortstop. We got rid
He
of
was
him.
good. Yeah, Garcia
Yeah,
Parra.
yep, yep.
He was good.
He was a legend in Boston. They all loved him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're in New York City. Can you show us, since this is on video, show us that office, man? That office looks fantastic. Can you turn that again?
Yeah, for sure. Look at that.
This is
Everyone's
like
in
a
the.
legit, like this is what you
So
see. These are all employees of Autopilot.
yep, these are all employees. Right now they're meeting about doing a like a prediction of a portfolio that they want to launch. So on the screen over there, they're showing like if you invested 10 grand, here's what it could grow into. But like there's one of my co-founders, that's our customer service. These are our product guys meeting. My marketing team is over to the right. It's turned into a whole thing, all starting with invest like a politician. It's turned into an entire
Yeah,
movement that allows you to go and have your stocks picked for you.
man, that's incredible. Incredible how an idea executed upon correctly can lead to
Yeah.
things that you probably never even imagined. And this is, you're going to sit here in 5, 10 years from now, you're going to say, oh my gosh, I could have never imagined even, where we are now. It's 2030. And I assume things are going to look quite different for you compared to they are here in 2026.
I mean, hopefully, knock on wood. We just had a whole kind of exec team meeting this morning about like how do we take it to the next level of where we are now, and I think a lot of it is going to come down to the pilots that we bring on, the people that we get in the growth of those guys. I think it's one thing to build out a fun app to follow Nancy Pelosi. It's another thing to convince a middle-aged man, with responsibilities and a decent amount of money to put money behind some of these other guys. We're on our way, but it's a
Yeah.
different challenge. And I look forward to and I respect the different game of having Nancy Pelosi stock tracker versus some ex-Citadel hedge fund guy launching on
Yeah.
autopilot.
Well, you did Tucker Carlson show, and you've now done the optimal life. So next, of course, the only natural progression would be to do Joe Rogan. We got to get you
That's the
on Rogan.
goal. That's the goal. So if anyone knows anybody, if anyone's listening, I think he's messaged well, he hasn't messaged. He's mentioned Pelosi Stock Tracker. He's talked
Oh
all
yeah.
about the trades. Obviously it would be an honor to get on it, but I don't know how to do it. I'm not out here, actively spending a lot of time and effort to do that. I don't think that's I think if it were to happen, I want it to happen naturally. But if anyone does know anyone, shoot him a
If
message.
anyone can make
We'd
a
love to chat.
contact to get Chris on, I mean, I do know a couple guys that he follows,
Yeah.
but I'm not that close with any of them. So,
Yeah, I hear you.
but yeah,
We'll get
like
there.
you say, it'll happen organically.
Yeah, we'll get there. If it were to happen, it'll happen.
You got on to Tucker before he went absolutely crazy with all the
Mm.
political stuff. So good
Yeah,
job.
exactly. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I did that in end of 2024. So uh not 2025 or
Yeah,
2026. I think
25 things started going a weird direction. But
exactly.
anyways, that city's still ringing down there with all the Knicks
It
stuff.
is. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's still going. Nothing new. I think like the summer in New York City is great. Everyone's out and about. Everything is still expensive as hell. We have a new mayor. So
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
I think the housing stuff is going to be fascinating because everyone is still continuing to complain about housing, and he built his entire like brand on affordable housing, lower rental caps, and if that doesn't work, I think it's a blow to the quote unquote socialist movement that we're seeing across the country. Because it is. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not a socialist. I don't believe it's going to work. I think,
I mean, there's no way. If you would have told me you were a socialist, I would have fallen on the floor.
yeah, hell no, no
A
way,
guy
no
that
way.
started as entrepreneur at 24 years old and to be doing what you're doing here at 30, I would have completely fallen over.
Yeah, no, not a
It
chance.
doesn't work,
So
man. It just doesn't really work. But
yeah,
again,
so
people have to figure it out for themselves.
exactly. And if anything, I mean, I guess the problem is if California were an example, people would know. California has failed, but people don't get it because we can be bailed out. America's just doing too well. The hope is maybe with New York City, if it fails, it doesn't work. That's the example for
Yeah.
the rest of the country. But I'm not holding my breath on that will play out the way that I would want it to play out.
Fascinating stuff, brother. Great connecting with you finally. I'm glad we can do this. Is there anything else? I mentioned with the app, the Instagram, anywhere else you want people to look?
No, if anything, you can even just shoot me a DM. I'm Chris J. Josephs on Twitter and Instagram. I look at them all. I'm just an everyday, founder. I'm not doing all these major, you know, crazy things. I don't have a crazy following. Pelosi Tracker has a crazy following, but we answer all the DMs. So if anyone has any questions, feedback, thoughts, don't be afraid to just
Guys,
reach
if you
out
want
to
to make
us.
money, all you got to do is follow Pelosi Tracker. You
Yeah,
you will make money. I mean, it might not always make money, but over the course of time, because everything's volatile, as you
exactly. That's
pointed
the
out.
hope.
But over the
That's the
course of
hope.
time, you're going to outperform.
Yep. And again, that's partly what the data is showing.
Hey man, thanks for coming on. Fascinating conversation and all the best to you.
Great. Appreciate you having me.